I'm having fun.
So
I enjoy the challenges. If something's not broken, trust me, I will go out and create a problem so I have something to fix, which is, it's kind of a self-destructive behavior to some degree.
But it's also self-propelling. It pushes you to gain and learn and excel and grow, which I think a lot of people don't have. Well, or not enough of it, in my opinion.
I just really can't sit still, at least mentally. You know, I just, my brain has got to have problems to solve. You know, if I'm not trying to solve my problem.
Hey there, everybody. My name is Rooster Quade, and I am the host for the On One podcast, where we talk about real shit with real people. Now, if you don't know who I am, I go by the name of Rowdy Rooster, and I am an award-winning traveling tattoo artist based out of the East Coast. Before we can get started, I just want to say really quickly, thank you so much to our sponsor, Industry Inks, as well as to everyone who's helped us get this podcast started. It's those interviews and those constant support that allowed us to do this. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Sick. All right, so we're rolling. Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we've been talking for this whole weekend already a lot, so I figured now would be a good time.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the most part, I'm not used to being on this end of the deal.
It's cool, right?
A guy talking to other people and scheduling things and doing things, so it's a little weird. And I got to say, it was probably the last thing I expected to be doing this weekend. So.
Yeah, it's cool. While we get started, my name is Rooster Quade.
I'm Marc Lescarbeau,
and we are On One. So, Mark, I did your seminar yesterday on needles, needle jig specifically. You're wearing your shirt there. I'll post a picture of your Instagram and all that stuff too.
Sweet.
You've been in the industry for a hot fucking minute. You want to tell us a little bit more
coming
about
up on 33 years, man. So started in 92, tail end of 92. So,
yeah, tell me more about that.
Well, let's see. First and foremost, I'm a scratcher, so you can tune out now if that bothers you. I came up in Massachusetts. Tattooing was illegal in Massachusetts. So for me to start tattooing, I needed to mail order some stuff and start as a scratcher.
Yeah. Where'd you get your stuff from?
Originally, I bought stuff from Superior Tattoo Supply, no longer in business. Jim Watson owned.
They were selling products to people without licenses, so that probably.
Jim Watson was famous for that. He had a number of companies that did that. I think he owned at one point 7 tattoo shops around the Phoenix area, multiple storefronts. So he very successful man, nice guy. I have a lot of respect for Jim on a business level. Yeah. Don't necessarily love the way he ran his business, but again, that's like I try not to point fingers too hard like that.
Is he still in business?
No, he's been out of business for a while now. Yeah. And then the other one was Spalding and Rogers. It's just over the mountain from me in New York. I was in Massachusetts, so that was a quick and easy shipment. But so I started tattooing out there. I ordered. There's a video. That a man named Leo Hawk, an old-time tattooer out of Texas, he had a VHS tape of him doing a tattoo from beginning to end.
And that was kind of what you watched?
I watched that. I read Huck Spalding's A to Z, Tattooing A to Z, and there was very limited resources out there. There was no internet.
Books. Yeah, there was no internet.
There was no YouTube. There was no cell phones. There was no nothing. It was just it was kind of crazy. But so I bought some gear, bought the few supplies I could find that would give me some information. I'm very mechanically inclined to start with.
Yeah, we bonded over that a little bit,
I think I'm a little bit above average intelligence, not to be too cocky, but the ladder.
I think that's fair.
The bar's not set very high on this planet.
No, the humans are fucking stupid.
But basically, so it was kind of intuitive, and I did okay out of the gate. Yeah. But as soon as I started tattooing, I realized it was something I wanted to do. It was this is where I belong. Yeah. And so literally a few months into it, basically flew out to Arizona to visit a friend who had moved there, spent about a week in Arizona, flew back, looked at my relatively new girlfriend at the time, and said, hey, I think I'm moving to Arizona. Do you want to come with me? Yeah. And she was dumb enough to follow me. Yeah. And eventually marry me.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so that was that. So I knew I wanted to be in the business. I needed to go somewhere where tattooing was legal. I could get into a shop and I could kind of cut my teeth, earn my stripes, however you want to put it. Yeah. And that was the start of it. So.
What was the name of the shop?
Let's see. It was, oh my God, brain fart here right now. And it was disrespectful to There's a famous shop in Hawaii, and I swear my age is showing right now here.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the shop, and I feel.
I mean, I'm the same way. I can't remember
I
half
feel
the
like
shit.
an absolute. Well, it was the first shop I ever worked in. I should know the name. And
we've been, like you said, you've been doing
Skin
it for 30
Deep
something
Tattoo.
years.
Excuse me.
Skin Deep.
Skin Deep, because it's a famous shop, beautiful woman in Hawaii that owns Skin Deep Tattoo, and there was a shop named Skin Deep in Arizona, and somehow
they had beef.
I thought that there would maybe be some affiliation or something or whatever. So I thought I was going to a reputable shop. Turns out the guy that owned it was basically a drug addict and kind of just a piece of shit, which happens a lot in the industry, and more so in the past than it probably does now.
We still got a couple out there, trust me.
Yeah. So basically, I ended up closing up that shop, basically opened a shop with another guy, turned out to be a drug addict, showed up one day, there was a shop we opened called Ink and You, and basically showed up one day and the shop was empty. And
no shit, just sold everything or moved out or what?
He's just poof, gone.
Wow.
You know, like somebody turned the lights on the roaches and he ran. And at that point I was done with tattooers. I was over it.
Yeah.
And I found a little tiny corner of a strip mall spot, about 300 square foot. And this was January 94. I opened up Body Art Tattoo. And that was one-man shop.
Yeah, a little private studio, yeah.
Yep, one-man shop. It was a street shop, but it was just a one-man shop. And I didn't care if I saw another tattooer as long as I lived.
Yeah, you just wanted to do what you loved.
I was done with them. And, curiosity got the best of me after a while. I did that for a number of months. And then I started taking my days off and driving around to other shops.
Yeah.
And just because I was in a new area, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to give it another try. I'm just going to try and meet some people. And drove around, and just many people were accommodating and inviting. Come on in. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, completely different feel.
Had a few doors slammed in my face. This is the old days. So walk into a shop and then
everybody's territorial and shit.
I had a naive streak in me. You might say ignorant to some degree, where I felt like, and I did this all through my early career, was I felt equal to other tattooers. And I'm talking guys, famous in magazines or whatever.
Crazy
I walk up to anybody and be like, hi, I'm Mark, I'm a tattooer. You're a tattooer. We should be friends. It just, in my brain, somewhere on the spectrum brain, it kind of made sense like that. And I had doors slammed in my face, thrown out of places before I even, could have a conversation. It was a different time at that point. But made a lot of good friends over the years doing that way.
Yeah.
And then finally brought somebody on, got too busy.
Was it an apprentice, or did you take on another licensed
another
artist?
full-time artist, yeah. And then got a little cramped in the space we were in, so I started leasing the building across the street, which is 2,000 square foot. So I go from
Much
300
bigger,
square foot to 2,000 square
Got
foot.
some room to stretch.
So then I'm going to bring somebody else in to help pay the bills. That built up for, let's see, I think the high point, we had 12 people in that place.
That's
between
a lot.
tattooers,
12,000, or you said 2,000 square feet?
2,000 square feet.
That's still a lot of people.
Yeah. So between artists, piercers, and a couple of.
But if you have the clientele to supply 12 artists, to keep them fed, that's impressive.
It was good.
Especially back then.
Well, back then there weren't that many shops back then.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
So when I opened my place, there was only, I don't know, maybe roughly 8, give or take, shops in central Arizona. Like, we're talking like the whole center of the state, Phoenix and Glendale and Mesa and all of that area. There's only maybe 8 to 10 shops.
That's crazy.
When I sold that shop.
Now you'll find 10 within a fucking 18-mile radius.
When I sold that shop in 2007, I think there was probably 100 shops just in the immediate area. And it's even worse now.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and I don't refer to it as selling a tattoo shop.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, when you say you sold it, like, what did that look like?
I refer to it as selling. I sold in my adult daycare facility, because that's what running a tattoo shop's right. It's herding cats, whatever, metaphorically, however you want to say it. It's
a
chaos.
shit show. Yeah.
It is total chaos. But I got to a point where all right, my goal in going to Arizona was to work legally. Yep. And then as soon as Massachusetts legalized, I was going to go back home.
Yeah.
You know, home is home. It's where I'm from. It's where my wife's from.
Yeah.
We had kids. So it's, but at that point, I had built another business. I had gotten into some real estate. I was doing great out there.
You had your name in a bunch of places, yeah.
Yeah. And then we get to the point where we decided that we wanted to bring the kids back home while they were still young enough to want to know the rest of the family. You know,
yeah, that's
like,
fair,
you know, just get that bond. So came about just deciding to sell. I had an old manager who had bought a computing shop up the street years prior. There was a little bit of a bitterness there for a little while, but in the long run, we got back to being friends and whatnot. Yeah. And so I sold that shop. He asked me years prior if I ever was, my goal was to leave the area, and he said when that day came, if I would give him first chance to purchase it. Yeah. So,
what does purchasing a shop look like? I'm curious about that.
Well, I won't divulge any of the specific details and prices because that's just disrespectful to all involved. But for the most part, it was kind of, I come up with a rough number that I could justify by the volume of tattoos we were doing. He was interested in it. He already had a successful shop.
One too, yeah.
So he knew what he was getting into. He knew what the potential was or whatever. Yeah. He also threw a local convention, did some other stuff. So he had his ducks in a row. He knew what was going on.
He wasn't just like every other fucking guy who owns a shop but doesn't tattoo. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I could justify the dollar amount. He could validate the dollar amount. So he gave me the money. And at that point, I owned the building too, so I ended up continuing to lease long-term leases.
That's smart, because you still get some money out of it.
It helps a lot for sure. I just sold that building the end of last year, but basically
now's a good time to do it.
Yeah. So I sold the shop, furniture, fixtures, everything involved, other than my personal stuff or whatever, and then brought the kids back to Massachusetts where we could raise them. So I built a house out there. Sold the tattoo shop, moved Needle Jig back there.
So Needle Jig, that would you say is probably your biggest achievement?
It depends on what level. I mean, I have a lot. I've accomplished a lot, and in different areas of life. Okay, my family's probably my greatest achievement. Okay, I love my family.
Yep.
I have 2 great kids. My wife is tolerable.
Yeah.
So, but
she tolerates you. That's important.
She tolerates me. That's how that goes. But yeah, it's. I mean, so yeah, that's probably like the biggest thing. I'm probably the happiest about. It's my family's not a total shit show like you see.
Well, a lot in this industry too is a lot of people struggle to maintain a healthy work-life balance, or they allow the fame or the how easy it is to get mixed up in the wrong shit in this industry.
Yeah. But I mean, I took tattooing's given me everything I have.
Yeah.
And I do my best to try and pay that back, as best I can. And I mean, because the money I made from tattooing, I was forced into the real estate game because I needed to own the buildings I was operating on. Yeah. The tattoo shop, a Body Joy company that I had started in Arizona, and some other stuff. And back then, people did not necessarily want to lease to people in our industry. Yeah. So the only way I could get a location sometimes would be to buy the damn building. Yeah. And then the only way you could maintain the building would be to own it, because a lot of landlords will see a business being successful and then just keep jacking the rent up and up and up and up till it's not sustainable. So, and I knew that going forward. So I just
longevity-wise, you have to get a buy. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I owned a home in Arizona. I owned 2 commercial buildings in Arizona. One for the jewelry business, which eventually morphed into closed, and then opened up Needle Jig running out of that, and then the tattoo shop. And then all of a sudden I'm in Massachusetts and I have 3 properties in Arizona. So now I'm a landlord on 3
now
levels.
You gotta fucking do it. You gotta pay someone else to help work out all that shit.
Whole new game to learn and play and whatever. So, but I don't regret that at all, because the money I made in tattooing allowed me to buy real estate. In the long run, probably like as far as like financial success wise, probably equal between the 2 at this point in time. So, and that's like, I was like Yeah, a little advice to anybody out there. If you're going to run a business, no matter what it is, man, try and get the property. You own the property.
It's going to be hard now. It's going to be hard now.
It's harder.
It's harder. It's very hard, yeah.
But if you own the property, you control your own future.
Yep.
And more importantly is you have an asset that's appreciating over time. And guess what? There's no retirement account. I mean, very few people are doing retirement accounts. I can get on that subject too, or whatever. Investing in your own future, it's critical. But like, you know, we there are no pensions in tattooing.
No.
You know, and the fact is, you're probably going to beat yourself into you know, oblivion by the time you're any sort of reasonable age. So if you don't start planning for the future now, you can have a hard time catching up.
We got lucky. My wife and I have been planning for our retirement and all kinds of stuff. Our money all gets invested into other things. So I came into this late in the game, and she's stupid smart, so I don't have to worry about that stuff yet. But no, I think it's easy to forget how temporary tattooing can be if you don't invest into your future.
Everything's temporary, man.
Yeah,
breathing is temporary. Yeah. I mean, it's like
there's so many artists that I know in the area that there's artists that I work with at my shop, at different shops that I work around and stuff like that, where they make just as much money as I do, and they're constantly just like, oh yeah, I gotta wait till my next paycheck. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, if that's you can't live a rock star lifestyle every day.
Live below your means. I could put it in a nutshell. If you start young enough, if you just put away somewhere between 5 and 10% of everything you make, which is nothing. If you make $100, you can get by just fine on 90. Yep. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to miss that $10. If you make $1,000, you're not going to miss that $100. So if you could put 5 to 10% away, invested in a silly, put it in a all right. I'll go down the investing hole here for a quick rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
Number one. Set yourself up an IRA. It can be through, I think, even like the little apps like Robinhood and everybody's stuff like that too, or whatever. Set yourself up an IRA. Understand, you're going to put this money away and you don't want to touch it.
You
leave it alone. If you take it out, you're going to lose most of it. They're going to penalize you. Set up a regular IRA, set up a Roth IRA. Regular IRA is money that is before you pay your taxes on it. Pay your damn taxes too, because I get a whole different rabbit hole on that I can go down. But
there's so many people that try dodging there. I mean, even just tips. They're like,
well, even if you get away with it, you lose.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but regular IRA, Roth IRA, find out what the maxes are. Do it if you can. If you can't max it, still put something in. Keep it going. That money, just do something silly with it. Don't try and pick the latest, greatest stocks. Just literally put maybe a half of it in the SPY and half of it in QQQ, and just let it roll. You let that roll from, say, your early 20s on into your 50s or 60s. I can promise you, you're going to have well over $1 million there, probably two, if you stick to it. And that's without. Without having a big successful business,
set aside and walk away.
It's that easy to do, but nobody knows that. And I didn't even know. I wasn't aware of the ideas of compound interest and whatnot until my late 30s. I woke up and found myself really, really in debt.
Yeah.
And I spent a number of years paying that down really hard and swearing I was never going to do that again. Yeah. Not to preach too much, but that's.
I think that's important. I think that's the kind of things that a lot of people, especially like my age and younger, we don't get fucking, or we get told that shit, but it's just always like, be smart with your money, and we're like, what does that mean?
Well, me reflecting back and looking back, there's that aspect to it, but it's also like, I'm going to do that. I'll start that next year. Well, next year never comes. Like, and then all of a sudden you find yourself 30, 40 years old. Quick short story here. Number of years ago, decade or so ago, and with Needle Jig, we set up payroll service, sent in a specialist. We were setting up a 401k for everybody that worked for the company, company matches, all that fun stuff, right? And this is when it all came like kind of crystal clear for me. Was I had a very young guy, I want to say he was 19, 20.
Okay.
And at that point, I think I was roughly 40, right? So let's just probably 42, something like that. So roughly a 20-year difference in our ages there.
Doubled his age.
Yeah,
you
pretty
doubled
much.
his age.
But 20 years is kind of like the important number here, because the woman's explaining to everybody how 401ks work, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so then she goes through, she has this calculator, and she's kind of going around the conference room table, talking to everybody one-on-one or whatever. And him being roughly, I think it was 20 years old, would need, in order to have $1 million at retirement age, would have to have put away $1,800 a year. That's
nothing.
Right? That's $1,800 a year. That is nothing, right? And come around the table.
That's a coffee a week.
Yeah. And so come around the table, whatever, and we're all just being open and having discussions here. She comes around, she runs my numbers.
Yeah.
And I have no retirement accounts, nothing at this point in time. I barely had anything
for you
in savings.
For you to retire with a fucking...
Every penny I have is in the business and running the business. And because I've never had any partners, investors, and loans on the company or whatever. It's just me. And so it comes around on the table, and I want you to guess what my number was that I needed to put away every year to have roughly $1 million at retirement. Because I was so much
probably
closer.
like 50,000. I don't fucking know.
Well, it wasn't that extreme, but it was.
I'm also very bad with numbers.
It was 18,000.
I mean, yeah, okay.
18,000 a year, where he had to put away 1,800.
Yeah, put a fucking zero on that shit. Yeah.
So unless you want to find yourself later in life struggling to put away 18,000, 20,000 a year to hopefully retire comfortably,
and live a life,
just start as young as you can, man, because that makes a big difference. 1,800 versus 18,000, and then he could have had $1 million at the end, and that's if he never got a pay raise, never did anything, just $1,800 a year, moving along through life, and just would have been golden.
It's crazy. I think that I think it's easy for us to convince ourselves that doesn't apply to us. Like, oh, it's you know what I mean? Like, I remember being told at a young age, like, oh, like, save your money or whatever. And I was like, oh, but I'm in the military. I don't need to do that. I'll be in forever or whatever. And I'm
take care of
you. Yeah, my ass. They fucking take care of it. But then you probably have people in this industry here too, where like, you probably have some financially smart business fucking people where they're telling you the same thing. Like, hey, be smart with your money. And I hear it all the time. Like, that doesn't apply to me. That applies to the 9-to-5 guys. I make fucking 50 times more than these people. You know what I mean? They're making $1,000 a month. I'm making $1,000 a day.
But that's not guaranteed.
No, it's not. And that's why I
guaranteed.
think like this sort of stuff coming from someone that's in the industry and has been doing this for so long, that is important. Because I think that seeing someone who's a tattoo artist been tattooing for 30 years, that makes a difference. I think that can change someone and maybe be like, fuck, maybe I need to listen. You know what I mean? It can apply to me too.
Well, and like I said, I mean, you sat in my seminar and we talked about needles, but I'll throw out other ideas and things like that too. I won't refer to them as words of wisdom, but like little nuggets.
Oh, I fucking need to say it.
Little nuggets that just could make a difference if somebody's really listening.
Yeah.
And that's like people. My role in this industry now is, I'm a supplier and I make money selling stuff or whatever, but it was kind of beaten into me early on that my job was to share what has been shared with me, and also to share what I've learned on my own.
That's going to be the legacy that you want to live,
Well, I'm not always right. No. Almost, but not always right? But I mean, like, it just so... But the things I know are the things I know.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give you information that is not true, that I don't believe 100% to be true.
That's the thing that I really appreciate, especially with your seminar too, is like, where the things I mean, you've spent so long working on the needles and all that stuff. Like, you're what we would call in the military a field expert in your area, right? And there's things that you're just like, every time you would talk about something that you're like, I'm not 100% on this, or this isn't my expertise. So like, take that with a grain of salt. You own that with everything we've talked about over the last 3 days. You know what I mean? I think that's important. I think that's a lot of something we don't get a lot of in the world in general, is everybody pretends to know everything they're talking about.
There's a lot of bullshitters in the world. And now given, I mean, that part of it is, to some degree, earlier in my career, it was, I won't say a bullshitter, but I mean, all tattooers like to embellish stories just a wee bit.
I do it every day.
Right? and it's kind of crazy Because, when you're early in your career, you kind of gotta exaggerate a little bit to get to the next step.
You want to be able to
you gotta get to the next step. Nobody wants to sit in your chair and go, "Hey, I don't know shit, and I just started tattooing 2 months ago, and I might absolutely screw you up, right?
You have to sell yourself a bit, yeah.
So you it's kind of a requirement in the beginning. So then you start down that road, and now I'm like, I find myself like where I don't want to embellish anything, right? Because I don't want to be speaking false truths, Like I just don't want to. But then I don't have to. My life has been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
You've got the stories already.
I can't even tell you. Like I can sit down and talk to people, and most people think I'm a compulsive liar, because I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I've flown planes, I've owned planes, and they're like, get away from this guy.
He's full of shit. He's
full
blowing
of shit.
smoke.
I'm like, dude, it's my life. If I see something I want, I go for it.
And try new things. Yeah. The worst that happens is you don't do well.
Yeah. I mean, my poor wife. Like I can honestly, she never knows what's coming down the road.
Yeah.
It's just, it's I don't know if it's entertaining or tragic for her.
My wife says, she says that I'm overly ambitious. I'm overly ambitious. I can never sit still. I'm never good enough with what I've got. I always want to do the next thing. I want to start a podcast. I want to open a bigger, better shop. I want to learn to do this new thing. She's always like, dude, Brooke, can you just fucking calm down? Just relax for a minute. Then she also facilitates and helps me get to like I didn't, I don't know if I told you this story yet, but I wanted to be a tattoo artist when I was younger, and then I joined the military and everything like that. I got out, and she wanted me to try an apprenticeship, and I was like, nah, I'm too old for that shit. I'm 27 years old. She's like, just try. And I went into it, and she fucking piggybacked me the whole way through. She's been my biggest supporter. She's also an asshole, so she's never complimented any of my tattoos. She'll zoom and she'll be like, "What's that?" every fucking time. So she keeps me very, very humble, but she facilitates every dream that I've ever had. Yeah.
My wife too. Like when we started, like she worked at a convenience store as a cashier, and then she worked as
making sandwiches.
in the Subway in that same building. And when I started the shop, there was no money coming in the beginning or whatever. And
she told me she picked up another job.
Yeah, she picked up another job, second shift, telemarketing or whatever, and she's working 2 jobs pretty much every day to support me through the. Till we got up and running and stuff like that too. So same thing, what have I done to repay her? She'll get a random text in the middle of the afternoon saying, "Hey, I'm going over to New York to look at a plane I want to buy," and she'll be like, "Of course you are."
Like an asshole.
Yeah. No, it's just like you just never know. It's just like it's. I feel sorry for her, but I can't necessarily control it or change it because it's
she chose this life just as much as you did, and there's a lot of tolerance that goes into, and I'm sure she's not fucking perfect either,
Well, nobody's perfect.
We've got the saints supporting us for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of stuck with each other.
Yeah.
We've both kind of committed that if this marriage doesn't work out, we're just hit 30 years.
Yeah.
It's like we're both too stubborn to leave, and if we were to leave, neither of us is ever going to consider it again. Because this is just way too much work.
I think that's going to end up being us in the next 30 years. Like she'll stay with me out of spite.
Just to make you miserable.
Because her rule is always no hands, no face tattoos. And I was like, the day you leave me, I'm gonna go buy a pack of cigarettes. I'm gonna have my hands and face tattooed. And she's like, I'm never gonna leave you out of spite. So, she'll stay with me forever.
That's cool. I'm glad you found her, man. And I tell people all the time. I like to in all honesty, another short story here, but I tell people all the time, if I didn't meet my wife, I would either be dead or in prison.
Yeah.
There's probably there's very little doubt about that. I lived hard when I was young. I was a piece of shit when I was young. I would lie, cheat, steal, you name it. I would just.
You're out for you.
Anything, just out for me entirely. And I had convinced myself that I was not going to live to see 30. Right. I mean, I wish
I could call my wife right now and tell her and be like, "Hey,
so fast.
What did I always tell you? What did I always tell you when we first met about how long I wanted to live?" And she said, "You didn't want to live past 30."
Yeah, I didn't. I said I wasn't going to reach 30, and we lived in Arizona at the time, and I had, I want to say, probably my absolute first neurotic panic attack experience on the eve of my 30th birthday. I was basically kind of trapped in the house. I can't go out the house. I'll get killed. Something was going to happen. And if I stay in the house, an airplane's going to crash into the house, something, but
You just fucking broke down, yeah.
I'm going to be dead by tomorrow, one way or another. And like sweats, panic, absolutely insane that I had, it's how powerful the mind is. You know, decades of convincing yourself that that's what's going to happen, even though it's completely illogical.
Yeah.
The mind is so powerful.
My similar story. My 29th year, I was coming up with my 30th year, and for those that didn't know, like my name was James, and I was the third. My father and my grandfather, we all had the same name. And my grandfather just passed earlier that year, and my dad and I are not on talking terms. He's a piece of shit. I won't put out all this stuff out there, but I basically told him the next time I saw him, I'd kill him. And he's avoided me. The only time I've seen him is at my grandmother and my grandfather's funeral. But I was going through this huge thing. I hadn't gone by James in years and years and years. I had already been going by Rooster for so long. And my wife had told me, you should just change your name legally. It helps us with our adoption paperwork, because they were pulling up weird shit that my dad had records on, and they were like, there's a warrant for you, and all kinds of crazy shit. And I was like, I was freaking out. And my therapist was like, you know what, you should actually change your name for your 30th birthday. You say all the time, I never thought I'd live past 30. Start over new. And so that's when I legally changed the name. I changed it to Rooster, and I'd already been going by it for a long time. And it felt like the morning of my 30th birthday, I felt like an entirely different person. And she's like, another 30 years, like you get to start over, and you get to be whatever you want to be now. And it truly was a physical, my mental health skyrocketed after that.
That's awesome, man. Adoption. You adopted?
Yeah, we just adopted. Yeah, we adopted
Congratulations.
Yeah, we adopted a little boy, Bo.
It always piques my interest. I was adopted.
Yeah.
So, and then
that was something that my wife and I, when we first met, it was weird, but we sat down and we talked about like 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, 30-year plan. What do we want out of life? And we really just sat down and very analytically, are our lives and the futures that we want even remotely compatible? And we did that before we even considered going on a first date. And we loved it.
That's a little weird, man. But
she's very autistic, very asexual. Okay. She's that is how her brain works. And I was like, I can appreciate that. She's like, I want to know everything before I even remotely get to know you. And I was like, okay. Meanwhile, we're overseas. We work together every day. So like we were going through this shit already. But the thing that we both wanted, I was like, I want a lot of kids. I don't care where they come from. I don't care if they're yours. I can buy them. I can sell them. I can whatever. I'll foster them.
That's not quite legal.
But like I just want a big family. I don't care how. I don't care if it's our friends that want to live next door and their kids or our kids, whatever. Like I just want a big family, and I want a lot of kids around, and I want to like shape a future tomorrow, kind of thing. She's like, I don't want to have kids, but I want to adopt. And I was like, adoption's really big for me. It's really big for her. So that was the thing we always wanted. And then eventually she changed her mind and wanted real, like she wanted to birth her own children and stuff like that. So we did that. But we tried for 3 years. It took a hot minute. It was like 2.5 years after we started our adoption process before we got the phone call. There's a woman in Florida. She's doing 18 days. What do you say? And we were like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I left. I was in Philly. I was at the Philly tattoo convention. And it was Saturday, and I checked my phone. I had like 30-something mixed texts, and I was like, what the fuck? She's like, she's in labor. I packed my shit up at 1 o'clock, and I drove down to Virginia, picked up my kids from our girlfriend's house, and then drove all the way down to Florida to meet my wife there. And I got to meet our little boy, and we named him, and it was fucking awesome. We did our final paperwork on him a month ago.
Nice. I myself was adopted, so I can totally... I just, like I said, those stories just, they're incredible. It's like, and then I was an only child into my 50s, and then I get a random text from my office manager. I was at Mass General Hospital with my father, was getting a procedure done. So I'm sitting in a waiting room with my mother in kind of a tense type of a situation.
Yeah, of course.
And I get a text from Tammy, my office manager at the shop and everything. She's like, you might want to read this. And I get a random letter that says from an adoption agency, basically, your sister and birth mother are trying to reach out to you. Are you willing to talk to them or whatever? And I'm like, out of left
How old are you at
field.
this point?
50s, 52.
Holy shit.
This is like early COVID.
Yeah.
And so we're in a stressful situation, whatever.
You're like, this is
My
not the-
body's
you're-
just
yeah.
flushed with everything. My adopted mother sat next to me, and I've known I was adopted since as early on as possible. I was always encouraged if I wanted to find her, meet my biologicals, go ahead or whatever. And then being an adopted kid, your mind goes a million places.
Yeah.
Like, oh, geez, was I the product of rape or incest or left in a dumpster or my father's some incredible billionaire that fucking, whatever, should have been aborted or whatever. Your brain goes to every edge of the spectrum. It's insane. Like all these, I won't even say fantasies, but possible stories flow through your brain.
It's the burning giant question mark, which is the biggest thing for humans to try to wrap their mind around.
But by that time, I put that all to rest.
And now here it is all right back again.
And then it's
sitting in the
just
fucking
boom
hospital.
there. And at first I'm looking at it and it didn't really look official or crazy or whatever. And I'm like, all right, I'm a pretty successful guy.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's just trying to
Get money out of you.
muscle and get money, whatever, stuff like this. So I kind of ignored it. And I didn't get another letter.
That's kind of my first thought. Someone, maybe your real mom was like, oh, he's doing well. I want a piece of that.
I'm not very good with mail, physical mail.
Yeah.
I will let it pile up. I hate mail.
Yeah.
And so apparently I'd gotten letters at my home, and I will end up with stacks of mail. My wife would put it in the pile, and she'll be like, you really should look through that. You really should look through that. I'm like, if it comes in and if it looks important, you're going to open it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll get to
Everything
it
else
someday.
can go.
So apparently I had some letters, and then they couldn't get a hold of me, so they got me through the business and got Tammy to get to me or whatever. And I'm like, so you end up having a conversation with them or whatever. And they're like, it was in fact the adoption agency because in Massachusetts, all adoption records are sealed.
Okay.
You cannot open them without like a court order. They can't, even being the biological mother, can't find out where I'm at or who I'm at or whatever. They have to go through the agency. The agency has to contact me, see if I'm willing to exchange
bunch of
numbers
fucking
or whatever.
messenger bullshit.
And also, so I did. So turns out here I am an only child for 50 plus years. Turns out I have a half sister, 3 half brothers. They have children. There's this whole other
Got a whole
clan.
big family out there somewhere.
Well,
family.
my adopted family, my father was born in a family of 16. My
Oh,
mother
so
was
you
born in
had
a family of
plenty.
11.
Yeah.
I have over 100 first cousins to start
Jesus
with. And now
Christ.
I've got a whole other group.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Shit.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's an adventure. It's like I said, my life is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I
Sounds made up, yeah. You
Endless.
could write a book or a movie off of that.
It sounds fictional, and then I share my stories openly with people. Information might be beneficial to them, whatever. Who cares? Sometimes it's just talk, but it's like start talking to people, and I can almost see people's eyes rolling back as to this guy's fucking on crack, or this guy's like whatever.
As a
And I'm
person who has an equally absurd life of just 1,000 things, I love it.
yeah, I mean, it's just like early tattooing was crazy. Lived kind of like rock stars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I could make $1,000 a day comfortably, even in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right? Make
Which is
$1,000
crazy, yeah.
Make $1,000 a day, then go out and literally kind of blow $1,000 a night.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna make another $1,000 tomorrow morning. Like
Yeah.
it was just like, it was ridiculous. You tattoo all day, go to the bar gets too crowded, leave the bar, go to strip club, give the girls some money because they were great advertisements. I tattooed so many.
That's true.
I built my early career tattooing strippers, recovering addicts, and the gay community.
Yeah.
The best clients ever.
Yeah.
Right? To be
We tell
honest with
everybody.
you. But I mean, networking, going to strip club to network.
I'm working, honey.
No, but like tattoo, go to the bar for a few hours, then go to strip club for a few hours, throw out some money, get some people, talking to you, whatever, about tattoos, whatever, leave the strip club, go to the casino, play cards for a couple hours, then go back to the bar because now it's closed, and it's my buddy's bar, so you can just go in and hang out, and then just go home. And you do that day and day and day. And
just fast, man.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's what we did. It was just common back in the day. And like I said, like my life has just been a ridiculous adventure. I couldn't. It's funny because I've done things I forget. And just wake up one day and go, oh my God. Or
you start telling a story and it triggers a memory.
Somebody will show up and be like, yeah, do you remember blah, blah, blah? I'm like,
oh shit.
No, I don't. But, and then you'll start flooding back again. It's like, it's crazy. It's like, so I feel blessed or I'm grateful for everything. And it's all been provided by tattooing.
That's so cool, man.
It's just, tattooing has given me everything. I have friends all over the world. I have invitations all over the world. Go someplace, stay there, work if I want to, don't work if I don't want to.
We're a lot luckier than I think people give themselves credit for. We've got artists all the time around me that I hear them complaining about financial this or oh, I have to fucking deal with a stubborn client or whatever. I'm like, dude, you don't know how lucky you have it. Like, if you've been doing this since like you were young, you don't know what working,
People need to take responsibility and realize that the situation they're in, they have created for themselves. Yeah. Right? And you always have the opportunity to change your situation. It may not be easy. It's probably not going to be easy.
No. A perfect example of that is people who I work with someone who they refuse to do consults. They refuse to do consults, but then they're upset that their clients show up and they overbook them or they underbook them or they have no idea what the client, or then they have to have that conversation in person and they've already dropped the deposit. They're there now and they're like I never would have agreed to this. I was like, well, you fucking could have done a goddamn consult and avoided all this whole fucking thing. And they're like, well, that takes time out of my day and then I lose money. I'm like, you lost a lot more money in the long run because you ended up wasting 3 hours because you finished in half the time, or you wasted your other client's time because you ended up going over. I was like, dude, just a 15-minute consult. As inconvenient as it is now, and the fact that it's free.
It's not even okay. So is it inconvenient? Maybe.
It's not to me. I do consults for everything.
Nothing's free in the world.
Yeah. It's an investment into the tattoo that you're doing. Yeah.
It's built into it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you can be the tattooer that says, "Oh, I got $100 drawing fee," and then the tattoo is going to be, or you could just give one lump number and you don't itemize it down or whatever. Or you can include the consult time or whatever. Or guess what? I mean, suck it up and just deal with it.
That's a thing that I talk about a lot, is because I have people that are like, why do you charge the way you do? Why is it that you draw with your clients and you count it on the clock? And I was like, it was either that or I up my rate. Mm-hmm. If me and so are doing the same quality of work and I'm doing it in less time or I'm doing it in more efficient fashion, but they're making $1,000 more than me, then I should do something about that too. I'm not going to slow down.
Well, and you should up your rate from time to time. Yep. You can't be grotesque about it. No. But you need to constantly improve your own position in life. Mm-hmm. And people are like, well, if I raise my rates, I'm going to lose a bunch of clients. And I'm like, that's okay. Yeah. Because you're going to free up a part of your schedule for people that don't want to pay that. And that opens it up for clients that do want to pay it. Yeah. And the bulk of your clients are going to stay right there and absorb that higher rate because they understand. They get a raise every year. And,
have you heard the concept of the 2-month rule? In regards to...
Probably familiar with it, but not in that name.
So if you are booked out 2 months, you're charging the appropriate amount for what you're doing. If you're booked out 9 months, you're charging too little. And if you're booked out less than 2 months, you're charging too much. Because 2 months is a good amount of time that if for whatever shit happened, you could work those 2 months and then by that time probably pick up more work. Mm-hmm. And if you're working 9 months, if you're booked out 9 months, you need to do something different.
Well, I don't know how people do that anyways, because some of the big guys, right? Mm-hmm. People will wait 6, 8, 9 months, a year or longer and fly out of the country to get something, that's a different scenario. But for the average tattooer, I don't see how that works anyways, because, the clients, most people,
they don't know what they're going to be doing in a year and a half now.
Most people are kind of going paycheck to paycheck. You know, they may not be in the same financial position 9 months from now. Or,
and you wonder why you get canceled on the last minute, or they no show, or you're like your schedule is constantly fucked because you didn't know what you were going to be doing. Yeah. They didn't know what they were going to be doing. You guys are making promises to each other. Of course, your schedule is going to be a dog shit every day. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do believe in people. The concept of raising your rates regularly and freeing up part of your schedule, that comes from a concept. My best friend PJ was a hairstylist he worked for Robert Cormier in Mandalay Bay in Vegas. Okay. Robert Cormier did a lot of speaking in the hair industry. Okay. And had a complete DVD set about knowing your own worth and stuff like this. Yeah. So I adopted that strategy from hairstylist. Well, very famous, wealthy hairstylist.
A business person.
Right. Well, he was, Robert Cormier I think, was like Paul Mitchell's right-hand guy type of thing.
Got
you know,
okay.
I mean,
I know
like
that name.
Top tier type stuff or whatever. But my friend PJ shared the DVD set with me, you know, and I like motivational stuff and informative things. And so, you know, I dove right into that and I listened to it multiple times and then beat it into my head, because at first it seemed like a foreign concept too. I was on the same page as the people that say, you know, I can't raise my rates, I'm going to scare off my clients. That's okay. You want to, believe it or not, scare off some of your clients, because those people are going to, we all hate it when a client shows up that you haven't tattooed in 5 years and he comes in and he wants you to finish a piece at the same rate, and you can't even match that. You can't regress to that level of...
hopefully you've gotten fucking better.
Right. But I mean, like, you imagine trying to regress down to like scribbling with crayons again, you know, like you go back there, the guy's going to want it at the right rate or the same rate or whatever. It's like, there's no winning that discussion or whatever. So like, you unfortunately need to let clients go as you outgrow them.
You're gonna outgrow friends in life. You're gonna outgrow your fucking clients. That's just how it goes.
I was talking to some people the other day, some younger people, and I was, you know, they get really absorbed into their friends, and thinking that, you know, how life is now is how it's going to be forever. I'm like, if you can maintain
one or two solid relationships,
solid childhood friendships into your 30s, even not even to the end, into your 30s or whatever, you're doing pretty good. Yeah. Life changes, situations change, people change. I'm like, and it's not necessarily bad. Yeah. You know, but it's like, that's what's going to happen.
You're supposed to fucking change. You're supposed to grow. That's the whole fucking point. And some people grow with you. Yeah. And some people go in different directions. Yeah. And some people become stagnant at a very early stage. And you're meant to, don't hang on to everything. You know, I think being able to focus and prioritize your own growth, selfishly as it may be, is vital.
Well, another quick, I got like a million little stories.
Give them out, man.
Arizona, we're living out there, away from friends and family forever, kind of related to, like, you know, childhood friends and whatnot. I wouldn't always, my wife would always go home at least once or twice a year to see family. Yeah. And I would try and get back every year or two, because like, you know, running a couple businesses.
You're a little busier,
I'm one of those guys that just will work 60, 80 hours a week, and that's that. It's just
that's where your priority is,
it's just
you want your hard work,
So I would be excited to go home and see my old friends and, you know, all that good stuff or whatever. And every single time it was a letdown, because I would like go home and see my parents, which is always great and everything. But they'd be like, all right, you know, I'm going to go out tonight. I'm going to go hit the old stomping grounds, and I'm going to go, you know, walk around town, do a little bar hop and whatever stuff like this. And they're like, in years and years and years, I go back and I go into the bar. And the same people would be sitting on the same stools, bitching about the same problems. You know, and it's like, you know, it would just be like, they're stuck. Yeah. They are physically, like in a video game, stuck in a box, and they're jumping and banging against the walls or something. They just can't get anywhere.
Same problems.
You know, and here I am, like I going all over the country. I'm starting businesses. I'm meeting famous people. I'm networking. I'm doing all these things that, well, people would think I'm a compulsive liar about, whatever, but I'm living life and having a good time and having a family and everything. And I'm like, and to come back and see, I'm so glad I got out of that area where I did for the time I did, because I would have been that guy, or dead or in prison, you know, because I can only sit on the same bar stool for so long. Yeah. It's like,
you would have gotten into something.
Yeah. But accept change, accept growth. Better yet, force it on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, go do something fun.
There was I think one of the hardest like changes for me socially in the last couple of years was when I decided to go sober. I did it not for any reason. I didn't have any bad habits. It's not like I was super drunk all the time. I didn't, whatever. I just like for my own health, I wanted to, and I've been on this journey for a bit, I want to be more, I'm doing therapy, I'm doing chiropractic care. I'm trying to be a little more cautious about what I eat and drink, just because I want to be more active and long-term present for my family and my kids. That's been the whole goal. And one day, it was my birthday, and it was 2 years ago, and I was like, hey honey, do we have any beer? I'm grilling. And she's like, we haven't had beer in the house in like 6 months, dude. And I was like, oh, fuck. She's like, do you want to go grab someone? I was like, no, why am I doing this? My wife's never had alcohol in her life. So like, I would have like a beer at home, or I'd drink socially on Friday nights after we'd all go to the bar and stuff like that. And when I decided, I was like, I'm done with coffee. I'm done with energy drinks. I'm done with alcohol, just because I want to live a healthier life instead of putting this shit in my body I don't need. I don't enjoy it a lot, you know? When I decided that, I realized that like everything I did with anybody, once I took away drinking, I had nothing in common with them anymore. And it became this thing where like I don't socialize with the shop outside of work anymore. Like they all go out, they do all these things, and for a while they would still invite me, and I'd be like, and I would go a couple times. I'd get like a mocktail or something like that, and it's just not the same. Like,
well, I mean, I would hope that everybody can mature enough to get past that, but like it's just like
we tried for a while.
It's a little sad. It's
like it is. It's sad to see. Like they all went to. We have an apprentice at the shop, and his birthday came, and they all went out to Mohegan Sun and celebrated and stuff like that. I didn't get an invite. So I was a little sad, but also I was like, if they had invited me, what would I have said anyway? I was like, no, I'm the only one in the shop with kids. I'm the only one that I have to be. I can't stay up out late. Cool. You know,
you're progressing to the next stage.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's just like I don't know. I think you should be able to network and hang out and enjoy the people you work with too, as much as.
But again, they're all. None of them have other responsibilities outside of like their immediate stuff, and so I talked to my wife, and I was like, yeah, they all went out without me. And she's like, if they had invited you, what would you said? And I was like, no, because the kids wake up Saturday morning, and I take them to gymnastics. You know what I mean? Like I have responsibilities to my family that are more important than having a good time. And so like I'm finding new friends that are also sober, and we do things that we both like, and stuff like that, and that's fun. But I think that was one of those stages in my life where I outgrew people.
Yeah,
around
I mean,
me,
like I said, I'll go out with people and be around people that don't drink, and that doesn't affect me at all. Yeah. And I don't feel guilty.
I go out with people who do drink sometimes too, and it's a great time, and it doesn't bother me. But it's the consistent all the time, and
if somebody just recently quit drinking, I'll be a little more considerate around them or whatever, for sure. And I don't generally get loaded at all anymore, but like we'll know another couple will go out, and like husband's sober and wife just doesn't drink out of respect for her husband or whatever, but I'm going to sit down and have a meal, and I might order a glass of wine or a beer.
Moscow Mule.
With I'm going to order a drink that's probably going to complement my meal or whatever. Exactly. I'm not going to.
That's the only time I miss
get more and more drinks and pound them and act a fool in front of this guy.
But a nice espresso martini or Moscow Mule is my favorite drink. I have a tattoo on my leg. That was my thing. If I had a nice meal, I wanted a Moscow Mule.
If I have a nice steak, I want a glass of Cabernet with it.
Yeah.
And it's judge it what you will, whatever. But like that's my thing. Yeah. So,
weddings is hard, man, because everyone wants to celebrate.
Yeah. Well, you can celebrate.
I still do. But it took me some time to realize that like I don't need that to have a good time.
Do you think it's more you feeling not fitting in, or them not wanting?
Oh, dude, this is a therapy session all over again. Yeah. Right, so that was the thing I did is I was like because for a long time I was still going out, I was still doing all the things with all the people that are drinking, and at a certain point I'd just be like, I'm bored.
Well,
I'm just bored.
I know if I'm out. And even if I'm having a beer or two, pacing if I'm out drinking, I try and pace myself at roughly one beer per hour.
Yeah, that was kind of my old thing.
Like normalcy or whatever. And as people get drunker and drunker and drunker, I can get bored. It gets irritating.
Yeah.
If you're not with them. You're not necessarily against them, but it's not as enjoyable.
You're not on the same level.
Yeah.
It's not the same level, you know? And I think that's where it came from. But eventually I did have that issue too, where I was like, is this a me thing? Or, and I spent weeks talking about therapy. And now I can go to a nice wedding and I can enjoy my mocktail mule or whatever. And I can still have a great time with everybody.
But why the mocktail?
Because I've also done just water, but I really do love that gin. There's a little bit of tradition to it, or I'll get like a fruity drink.
Do you feel like you need to deceive the people you're around?
No. It's a special treat.
Okay.
Because we have this stuff at home to make mocktail meals every once in a while. So I'll make one. I'll go sit on the couch, and it's the flavor of the thing that I liked without all the stuff that I am trying to avoid. So that's nice.
Well, it's cool. Quitting drinking or whatever. It's like. It's maybe a little more beneficial for you considering like the PTSD and stuff like that. Your past. That's
if I'm physically better, I'm mentally better, and I think that all ties together really closely. And I think that my PTSD has gotten a lot better over the last 2 years.
I was kind of shocked because you look like a gym rat, and I said that to you once already. And I can tell you in the last 2 years I've started lifting more and running more and stuff like this, and that's what I needed to clear my head. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, well, you said you haven't lifted in like 7 years or something.
Yeah, I went to the gym. I've gone to the gym twice in the last couple of weeks for the first time ever. Yeah. Just because the kids are all 3 kids are finally going to daycare, and I'm like, fuck, Tuesday mornings.
I was going to say, you think that would help you get, keep a clearer head too? Because I know it does wonders for me.
Yeah, I think that it definitely ties into it, but I think that for me, my mental health is more tied to my work relationship in regards to like, if I'm happy working, which I often am, that is my favorite thing. I love to be busy. I love to stay engaged. I think that the healthier my work relationship is, or my relationship with work is, the better my relationships are with my partners or my kids or my mental health and everything. I'll eat better. I'll sleep better. I'll be more motivated to go to the gym if working is fun for me, which I
working has to be fun.
It has to. I think for a lot of people who come from nothing, you learn that you have to work really fucking hard all the time.
Right.
And when you're not doing that, it gets you.
When there isn't the option to work and do something you enjoy, you need to work regardless.
Yeah.
Because things have to happen. Bills need to be paid. Yeah. But if you are lucky enough to be able to find something to do that you enjoy, it's not work. And that's how I can get sucked into 60 plus hours a week, is because I'm having fun.
So
I enjoy the challenges. If something's not broken, trust me, I will go out and create a problem so I have something to fix, which is, it's kind of a self-destructive behavior to some degree.
But it's also self-propelling. It pushes you to gain and learn and excel and grow, which I think a lot of people don't have.
Well,
or not enough of it, in my opinion.
I just really can't sit still, at least mentally. I just my brain has got to have problems to solve. Yeah. If I'm not trying to solve my problems, I unfortunately am trying to solve other people's problems.
Yeah.
Which
and
doesn't
that's never
work.
fun. No, it's so bad.
It.
You get dragged down into the deep dark whatever they're going through.
Tried to save people from addiction, put people through halfway houses multiple times, and I used to crush my soul to put all the effort in, time, energy, and money in, and see them fail. Which it's heartbreaking, and you see it.
And then you wonder why people ask why, in a very similar situation where like we're a little colder. Or a little more, like you said yesterday, I'm not going to waste my time with the niceties. I'm going to be I'm going to say what I got to say, and I'm not going to worry about the tact of it, because what I'm trying to say is more important than how I'm saying it.
Well, and the fact is anything I'm saying, it's something I know. It's something I know, I live, and I believe, right? And so I don't need to say it. So if I'm speaking, if I'm having a conversation with somebody asks me a question or something like this, I'm going to give you
the genuine, authentic answer.
Right. And if you don't want to hear the answer, or you're not going to listen, let's not waste our time, right? Right? Because I don't need to hear this story. I know this story. So and I kind of hate my sound of my own voice.
We all do.
Because you can tell I talk a lot, we kind of have that in common. and it's And I don't like hearing my own voice. And the truth is, I don't love repeating the same stories and stuff over and over and over again, unless it's beneficial to somebody else. And that's I will endure listening, cringing to my own voice and repeating the same words for somebody else's benefit.
Yeah.
But if you don't want that benefit, and another thing I'll tell you is, like, if I give you my honest opinion and my advice, you got to take it as you will, and do what you will with it. And I don't.
But that's not. That's not your problem. Yeah. It's in there.
I don't get butthurt and heartbroken if you don't follow my advice. Yeah. But I want you to listen to it. I want you to give it real world consideration. You weigh the information I give you with your situation, and then you do what you think's best with it. And I'm cool with that. You don't have to follow my lead at all. But just don't ask me if you don't care. Because that's just like I got less time on this planet every single day. Yeah. So wasting it telling the same stories to people that aren't listening.
You want to help. You want to what I call community service. You want to help.
Community service. This is my punishment.
Yeah. I say community service in the sense of like I do it knowing that it might not matter, but hoping that it will. Yeah. I'm doing it for the sake of other people. Whether you're I advocate for a lot of different things, and I spend a lot of my time kind of like I use the little bit of a platform that I have to kind of advocate for certain things, whatever that may be, whether that be therapy or I'm big into talking positively about non-monogamy and LGBTQ+ and all that other stuff, and being a safe space in a world where, especially in industry where there's a lot of not so safe spaces, there's a lot of advantage being taken and stuff like that. But I use my platform to talk about that. Talk about the importance of authenticity.
Our industry was built by outlaws.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, like, we were outlaws, pirates from the beginning. It is becoming less like that on a daily basis.
Less anarchy.
But it's still the roots of where we came from. So, and at first I kind of liked that aspect of it. That might be one of the things that drew me to the industry. But as I get older, as I get older and a little bit smarter, I kind of realized that is not the healthiest thing, physically, mentally, anything. It's just kind of
some toxicity that goes into it.
And I, like I said, I was like, things that happened in a tattoo shop 30 years ago are not accepted remotely as to what could happen in a tattoo shop this day and age. It is a much safer space. It is a much better place. It is a much more enjoyable place to be.
People enjoy being there.
But it's not like people are like, oh, people were real pieces of shit back then or whatever. It's like, no, it was the daily norm and accepted.
It's just what it was,
it was what it was, It's like, and the fact is as a species, hopefully we're growing and learning and adopting and making it a little better each day. And it can't just jump from here to there.
No.
The mind cannot adopt great change instantaneously. We're little children. We need to be spoon fed and just led around the path in hopes that we
end up
develop those habits. You know, it's crazy. I mean, people are dumb. It's not
I think that's going to be the title of this episode: is people are dumb.
Well, it's not like but it's not like it's natural human psychology, whatever, however you want to describe it, and it's not in an insulting manner. It's just that's just the way it is, and people need to learn certain things certain ways. Like it's how government and religions and everybody else fucking manipulate you. They've figured out how to teach people how to control people, right? And it's just you spoon feed them what they want, and they will follow you anywhere. And it doesn't make a difference which end you want to talk about.
It's so easy to manipulate us. Yeah.
So, and if you're not paying attention, it's so easy to be manipulated.
Yeah.
So it's just and people that do their own research on any particular given subject, doesn't make a difference. Anyone, All they're doing is seeking out sources that support their current thought basis.
It's Googling your symptoms and looking for the word cancer until you find it, and you're like, see, I told you. It's that shit. Yeah.
Every single time I panic, like I find something like, okay, I got the vigilata going on, I get aging, get little spots here, whatever, something. It's like, stay away from Google. It's I can't tell you how many times that damn software has tried to kill me.
Yeah.
It's just
and I fall for it too every time. I'm always like, oh God, what's wrong with this? And
well, and even if you don't firmly believe it, that nugget is deposited and it's going to create some anxiety or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't love doctors. I do not love doctors. I absolutely passionately cannot stand the fact that their professional term is practicing physician. That bothers me to no end. I'm like, I'll go when they're done practicing and they know what the hell they're doing. But in all reality, if something's fishy, just go see the doctor.
Yeah.
At least get their opinion. If you don't like their opinion, get another opinion or whatever.
Yeah.
But don't try and self-diagnose, man. It's like that is.
We're not even practicing. We're not even practicing physicians. They've got something on us. They've gone to school for it.
I think I know more than most physicians. And again, that's kind of a cocky, arrogant statement or whatever. But I am a guy that has spent so much time down so many rabbit holes with so many resources because my brain just won't let me ignore anything. It's just ridiculous. Like when I was young, I grew up really poor.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my parents went out of their way to make sure I had what I had to do the sports I wanted to do or whatever. But I mean, there was no extra money, and they took on debt to make sure I could get the things I needed. And I'm truly grateful for that. But I was never really aware of the fact that college was an option. It's kind of like, I'm going to die before I'm 30 years. Who cares? Whatever. But I still compulsively was in the library. I was in the school library, I was in the public library, and I would just read anything that tickled my fancy. Just couldn't help it. And I was like, because I wasn't going to get to go to school. I wasn't going to get a higher education. But then I started realizing I could read the same books in the public library that they read in Harvard or Yale or anywhere else.
For free.
And I'm doing it for free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, who's smarter, right? And I was like, but libraries back in the day, where I was like, that was my escape. And what was I escaping from? You know, was I escaping from home life? Was I escaping from my own mind? Was I escaping from, who knows? But that was like my go-to place. Go start pulling books off the shelf and just filtering through them. And it didn't even make a difference what the subject was. So I had a curiosity.
And just went and found it.
Just chase it. So like I understand biology pretty well. I understand chemistry pretty well. I understand, there's just so many subjects that I know probably enough to be dangerous in a lot of different areas.
Not enough to be dangerous. That's a military term.
But
right
it's just the way I'm wired, So it's like, if you want to talk about you want to talk about global politics. You want to talk about global economies. You want to talk macroeconomics. You want to talk microeconomics. You want to talk about disease, bloodborne contaminations, anything. I can speak on many, many, many subjects. I'm not an expert in all of these, of course, but I can hold a conversation with top tier guys in many industries, and they'll look at me like, how do you know that? And like, bored one day, got stuck in a rabbit hole, couldn't let go of that. I don't know, it's weird. It's hard to be me sometimes. It truly is.
Oh, but, that must pour you.
I'm getting comfortable with it. It's only taken 50-something years, but I'm figuring it out.
I think you're a really cool dude. I think you're, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed talking to you over this weekend, so I'm really glad. Well,
it's like, you're surprised?
Well,
you're looking at me going, that guy's a total fucking douchebag.
Not that, but I don't enjoy it. I don't like, I get bored very easily. I'm sure and so like, every time I would talk with you, I was just fully engaged. I was like, I want to know more. And so that's not a common thing for me. I'm not typically entertained, you know what I mean? Yeah. I find that a lot of people talk, and I'm like, there's nothing here.
Oh, I'm glad we met this weekend. It's like once you started talking about helicopter mechanic, I was like, ooh, let's go build one.
Yeah,
like literally, I'll buy the shit. Let's go.
You let me know. You buy the stuff and I'm there. But I think that I'm glad I got time to sit down and talk with you. I think this is really cool. Yeah. I love picking your brain. This is really fun.
You're always welcome to it, man.
I probably will. We probably, anytime I see you again. But I think that's going to put us close to that 1 hour mark. So I think that is all set. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rooster.
That was a horrible, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, but
that was my fault, not yours.
I pinched my hand here and here, so like every handshake has hurt. So I've been doing the dainty thing because every handshake
it just hurts a little bit too much.
Jabs the thumb into that, and the fingers rip out of that, and I'm like.
Well, I appreciate you being on. I'm Rooster Quade.
Marc Lescarbeau.
And we are on one. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. This is awesome. Thank you so much, seriously. That was great. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day to listen to Shoot the Shit. It means everything to all of us here at the On One Podcast. Now, if you liked what you listened to and you want to help us out, give us a like, a comment, or even just share with a friend. And if you'd like to join us on set, please feel free to message us on Instagram at OnOnePod. We'd love to work with you. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.